two strong archetypes that fit very different lineups. And also BloodTrail, the difference that he has from Tom's lineup, we get to have a little fun. There's some show matches that are lined up for later in the day with some very cool personalities. If you're a big fan of the one, the only, Pin Ping Ho.
The Shaman God.
The Shaman itself. Then after the semifinal, we're going to get to see a show match between him and I think Hunter Ace. Yeah. Hunter Ace, this year's kind of breakout star, the best player of this year, and Pin Ping Ho, the best player of every other year.
I mean, Pin Ping Ho's taking a break from Hearthstone, but man, would he love playing even Warlock, because this guy loves to life tap.
Yes, he does.
Even if he's holding 10 cards, you life tap first, every time.
Yeah, it was funny. Dan and I went to the player area because we were trying to look for some food in between our last match, and we saw Pin Ping Ho getting prepped for a show match, and we were like, "You been playing much Hearthstone lately?" No. What have you been playing? Nothing. What have you been doing? Nothing.
He's like, "Well, weren't you going to school?" He's like,
"No,
yeah, I don't go to school anymore." He's like, "Well, what are you like? So what are you now?" He's like, "I'm a NEET," which is like no education, no employment, and like I guess no training or
no training.
Is it the last one? I don't know, but like the idea is that he hasn't been doing anything.
No.
That's going to be coming up for you. So Hunter Ace versus Pin Ping Ho show match, but the requirement is that they were basically heavily pushed to make meme decks, and I helped Hunter Ace prepare. So it's kind of like I live vicariously through this show match, which is fun because he's got some Frodan specials, aka decks with tier 5 win rates below 30%.
Yep.
And
love to see it.
The icing on the cake, and we promise we'll talk about the game after this. The icing on the cake is that Pin Ping Ho got to submit his decks after Hunter Ace submitted them, and he knows what it is. All right, anyways, let's go into Miracle Priest versus Even Paladin. This is my favorite deck as of the past 48 hours.
Yeah, I like Even Paladin as well.
Yeah. Miracle Priest is so fun. You got to see exactly why the previous series. There's just so many lines of play. Surrender is the only player bringing this deck in the field, and it's got a lot of explosive potential in card draw, in damage. I mean, everyone knows Inner Fire Divine Spirit Priest can win as fast as like turn 4 or 5. And this deck has a lot of that, but it's got more meat to it with Grave Horrors, with Witchwood Grizzlies, Lyre the Sun Shard, and of course you're going to revive any of those with Eternal Servitude.
But Dan, he's getting beat up.
Well, I mean, that's kind of what happens with a fast tempo deck. You're just going to get beat up.
But he's getting beat up a lot more than he could probably handle getting beat up. He's taking 7 this turn. He's going sub 20. And there's more than 10 damage being represented on board. 12, in fact.
There's a mass hysteria.
Yeah, but it's a turn away. He uses coin.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
So what could happen is next turn, BloodTrail could just equip True Silver Champion, push 16, surrenders in a spot where if he doesn't heal this turn, he mass hysterias, but he's dead to the next swing of the True Silver Champion. He's going to go with Acolyte of Pain again.
Yeah, no, you're totally right. It's like the greed from Surrender. The greed from Surrender might be what costs him. And to be fair, this deck does play on a knife's edge. That's why I call it Miracle Priest. It's got like that Gadsden Auctioneer type thing where you just go completely off and you hope that you can bail yourself out. I mean, that Grave Horror has cost a 9 in the opening hand. In my the start of my turn on like 5 or 6 mana, and it became 0 at one point. It just goes off if you're not careful, as the opponent, of course.
Yeah. I'd honestly be very surprised if BloodTrail trades here.
Oh, wow. That has a lot of respect, because you're talking about how much damage he had, right? He had 16 damage this turn.
Yeah. The only thing he could be worried about would be Wild Pyromancer plus draw a ton, but he's only got 5 mana. By just going off face, he sets up for a lethal next turn if Surrender plays his only big piece of removal, which is Mass Hysteria. And what he could do to play around the Wild Pyromancer removal is to play Blessing of Kings on the biggest minion, because he knows that there is no Shadow or Death in Surrender's hand. So he could have set up for a near guaranteed lethal with either True Silver Champion or Blessing of Kings and no trade into the Acolyte of Pain. Because who cares if they're drawing a bunch of cards if they're dead?
Yep, agreed.
So I don't know about that one.
Oh, okay.
So clear board, and now BloodTrail is, well, he's still in a good spot, but winning the game could have been a better spot.
Agreed. Under picks some more card draw. And I don't think he can do anything really about this. There's not a lot of heal in the deck. Doesn't have Witchwood Grizzly. And even if he did have the Grizzly, he'd be dead anyways because of Sunkeeper Terrarium.
Yeah.
This deck can struggle from time to time. And also, to be fair, the highest win rate matchup for BloodTrail is specifically this at 67 a clip.
Okay.
So it is the most one-sided matchup you'll see in this head-to-head. And Surrender, you should play Priest. The only thing is that the Priest from Surrender doesn't have some of the best tools available to deal with Hunter, like Psychic Scream, for example. Like that's like a reason that you're able to farm a lot of those Death Rattle Hunters. So, you know, we'll see what ends up happening. For now, we're going to go to what looks like to be another tough matchup for Surrender. Even Warlock against Cube Lock.
Yeah,
it can be really tricky.
Even
here.
Warlock just starts earlier, and it has bigger threats. Mountain Giant comes down a turn sooner most of the time. Twilight Drake usually is 1 health larger. It just takes a long time for Cube Warlock to get going, and in the meantime, even Warlock's just dropping big threats, and they don't have nearly the stabilization tools later on in the game, like Hooked Reaver, to try and protect their life total.
Another thing to consider, too, is the Acidic Swamp, who is shutting down one of the best ways for Cube Warlock to get started, which is Skull of the Minari.
Yeah.
No Mountain Giant. I mean, BloodTrail has Twilight Drake, which is serviceable, but nowhere near the power level that BloodTrail would like. Still has another draw for it off the top.
Yeah, so this is one of those rare scenarios where I advocate for Librarian or before tap, because if he finds Doomsayer, he's going to play it. Most of the time, you want to tap first, because if you pick up Spellstone, then the Kobold Librarian buffs the Spellstone. Also,
he was at 9
cards,
so he can't play it.
But
really.
let's say he had 1 card less. My analysis works, but as is most of the time, whatever comes out of my mouth is just gibberish.
I get the sentiment, though. You know, and it would have been different if, you know, like, let's say Surrender was on the play instead, because it would have been the same situation, because BloodTrail could play Mountain Giant on 3.
Yeah.
So there you go, TJ.
Whew, I'm so smart, dude. Just a smart guy.
No, you ruined it. You ruined it. I don't know who you are anymore. Man, what does Surrender do on 4 mana and 5, like all these 5, 6 mana plays? The nerve to possess Lackey. Being 6 mana instead of 5. How far we've come.
I know.
It's like every single series I see Cube Warlock, you just get reminded how big of an impact the nerf was. You see Dark Pack healing for less. You see Possessed Lackey a turn slower. It's just like, man. And then you realize it doesn't matter. They still pretty much get there anyways with the big Doomguard pushes, the big Voidlord walls.
This has more limited matchups, right? The good matchups are still good, but the bad matchups get a little worse.
Yeah. Now Surrender's you know, in a position to coin out that Possessed Lackey, but Spellbreaker coming out hurts a ton.
Yeah, BloodTrail does have double Spellbreaker, as did Tom.
Yeah.
So it's way more likely that he has it, and also he's been life tapping so much, as even Warlock tends to do, Dan.
Right. Also without really big proactive plays. If they're not playing proactively, then they must have reactive cards or big bombs.
Yeah.
So, you know, Surrender coining out the Possessed Lackey here is somewhat of a disaster.
I think we need to call up our good buddy Nathan, that's Admiral Zamora, to tell us what's the play here, Dan. I think it's a Doomguard from hand. I think Cube's better in this situation.
You better. What do you think about just like Ziliax?
Ugh.
It's like Ziliax attacks and pass. Because then it sets up like a potential like Defile Spellstone situation.
Ziliax pass?
Not Ziliax pass, Ziliax attack pass. Because then you still get. Because then you can draw like Hellfire off the top. Then you can draw.
Yeah. I see. And then you'd be punished by Spellbreaker, which is the play.
It's close. I can make a case. You can make a case for almost any of these 5-mana minions.
Yeah.
I do think Cube lines up the best statistically against everything on the board.
Cube's just kind of the
Someone told me
the easiest play.
Someone told me, and obviously I think you might have insider knowledge, so don't confirm or deny, but
Jeez.
I was told that Ziliax at first was experimented as a 4-3. And to which they're like, that's probably a little bit too good.
I don't remember. It was in the set that I didn't playtest as much.
Okay, gotcha.
But, oh man, there's some cards that at one point in time were way different than they are now, or way more powerful.
Just straight up, like, way too strong.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense.
And I'm hyper competitive, so whenever I play in playtest, I just try to abuse the most broken thing, which I guess helps them a lot.
Spellstone and Mountain Giant. Surrender, staying alive. There's 10 on the board, and he's at 18. Oh, man. So close to potential death here for Surrender, and he really needs to stay in this game as long as he can.
He basically needs Dark Pact to be able to get that Possessed Lackey activated and hopefully pull a... I don't even know, Void Lord. Honestly, Doomguard would probably be better because it has more immediate board impact and plays around Spellbreaker a little bit more.
Now, we've seen BloodTrail kind of, spend his turns trading. I wonder if he's going to do that again here just to prevent himself from getting blown out. Okay, so last game, he was trading a little bit, but it seems like this game he feels like he's a lot more comfortable being aggressive, and, I think that's the right call. Cube Warlock, they just don't have that healing capability they used to.
Yeah.
Or is there a 1 for a Defile? Close, but no cigar.
Deliax can still provide a decent amount of protection. He takes 7 power off board, leaves 6, heals up to 11. So even with Hellfire, he's still protected. He's going to be alive at 2. Can't live through double Hellfire.
It would kill off BloodTrail's on board, though.
Well, he'd Hellfire first, and then... Oh, no, you're right. Well, it would kill off 1 because he'd take off the Acidic Swamp boost.
Yeah.
So he'd be protected from even double Hellfire.
Oh, no, he just Ziliax and then Defiles. I'm dumb. You attack into the 4-1.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know why it took me so long to realize that. I was like, oh, well, you can't, get a 1-health minion. You just use Ziliax to rush into
Defile.
Defile.
You heal up to 11. You have a 3-health Mountain Giant.
Yeah, but the reason why you would want to hold on to a Defile, too, is because you have Possessed Lackey, and you need a way to activate it.
Yeah, but at this point, it just doesn't really have any other option.
Yeah.
Ooh, not pushing the damage.
Oh, yeah, you're right. No attack. He doesn't want the Hooked Reaver. I mean, turn 8 could invite another Hooked Reaver. He did see 1, though.
Yeah. There's a few punishes for that, too. Let's say BloodTrail had Hellfire, Spellstone, and then Hellfire or Spellstone, and then Hooked Reaver. He could clear off the Mountain Giant.
Right.
Then play a 7/7, and Surrender would be at 8 health, so it'd be a very dangerous situation to be in.
Yeah. And surprisingly, turn 8 should be, one of the most, if not the most powerful turn available to even Warlock, but BloodTrail is kind of set up with pretty mediocre plays despite that. His way to remove this Giant is a Hellfire, but that doesn't look great. Because then your development turn on the backside is pretty pitiful.
Yeah.
This and the Homunculus?
I guess.
Right.
So we need to hold on to Acidic Swamp Boost because you're not in a territory where you're pushing for lethal, so Skull could still do a number.
Oh, boy. Okay, Hellfire was used, though, so 1 burst card removed.
Yeah, so I think you go for Lackey plus Doomsayer here. What? What are you laughing?
It's so scary.
Why?
Because it's just, you could die, but you're not going to die, but you could. It's just scary. Bone Mirror.
You can't die? How would you die?
Well, I meant it's scary the idea of being this low and letting yourself getting hit more.
But if they Bone Mirror you,
you're at 1, but they can't finish it.
Well, you're at 2.
Oh yeah, sorry, they're at 2.
How much of a difference?
Counting the Bone Mirror body as its actual buff, which would be insane, but it's not. It's only +4/+4.
But he doesn't have a way currently in his hand to finish the game if he does that. And there's two Spellbreaker targets here that he wants to get. I honestly think Doomsayer is the best because then he can solidify a board position because this Possessed Lackey, while it'll pull a demon. Oh no, but they need to roll a Spellbreaker if Void Lord comes out.
The Void Lord, the Spellbreaker for the Void Lord is really important.
Yeah. And then if you don't develop here and let this Doomsayer go off and just silence the Possessed Lackey, then a Void Lord is going to come out anyway.
He doesn't know what's in the hand, so maybe he thinks that Doom Guards get pulled instead.
Yeah.
And he's going to force Surrender to show it, which I think is the better play, honestly. Because you still have a pretty reasonable board after this. Tal'Daram. Okay. So... So if Doomguard gets pulled...
So many possibilities.
Surrender just plays the Void Lord then. But he also has the ability to Tal'Daram, like... okay, hold on.
Thinking if there's a lethal out, but I don't think there is.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking about too.
He could have a maximum potential of 10 damage. If Warlord gets, or if Doomguard gets pulled, then he prints Tal'Darams to Doomguard, trades into a 2/4, and then pushes 10.
Yeah, I was trying to
do that.
I was trying to see if there was any kind of lethal position here.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so it is a Doomguard.
Is it just Void Lord? One Spellbreaker was used.
Yeah, I think he just has to play the Void Lord in his hope.
Oh my gosh, BloodTrail just needs a Spellbreaker. Oh, he can tap for it though. But does he, if he taps, is he cornering himself? He needs to think very carefully about this, because he could just play Blood River Gul'dan.
Yeah, Blood River Gul'dan would be kind of the safe play. You could also suit up a Bone Mare, but then you leave a... either way, you leave Doomguard on the board.
Yep, and then you might die. But the thing about the Blood River Gul'dan is you summon back your own Homunculus and you get a couple Taunt Minions in the way.
Yeah, that's true.
So then you force your opponent to do something. Tap!
Whoa! BloodTrail saw the victory in his eyes.
I respect it. It was a 10% chance to win right there, right then, with the second Spellbreaker. Bone Mare. Still sets up a huge target. He can also choose to not attack to maximize the health so that Doomguards just throw themselves into the Twilight Drake.
Has Surrender played his Spellbreaker? I don't think so. Surrender does have one copy of Spellbreaker in this Cube Warlock deck. He can tap for it, but then he can't play Blood River Gul'dan. These would be the only minions that died, so he could trade... Oh, no, he can't trade in the Void Lord.
Surrender can pull out the second Void Lord, though, with Possessed Lackey and Spellstone on it.
He can.
So he can stall for another turn, let his minions die, then Blood River Gul'dan.
And be protected from Spellbreaker, which is pretty important.
Yes.
Ooh.
I mean, he can also just Prince Tal'Daram. Like, he can Prince Tal'Daram and Cube or something like that.
Or Dan, he could tap for lethal.
Tap for lethal! 1 out of 14 is a lot less than what BloodTrail's chances are for the following turn.
1 out of 14, it's 50-50. You didn't let me get my punchline.
Sorry, this is a really intense time, TJ. No time for memes.
I'm so sorry. I'll have to leave. Possessed Lackey Spellstone seems like the safest play. He could also just get Blood River Gul'dan now and trade in the Doomguard, but that doesn't seem like a very strong play. All right.
I think Surrender doesn't have any really good play here besides this defensive one to pull out the second Void Lord. And now BloodTrail, Hellfire. He has two Defiles and a Hellfire. Is there some wizardry that BloodTrail can just finish the game right here, right now?
Wait.
I think so.
Wait.
2 minions go into a Void Lord that summons 3 3s. Wait, no, that's not how it works.
He would need to attack into the... Wait, does he see it?
Yeah.
So if he Hellfires, it leaves a 1 and a 2.
And a 3 and
a 3?
3 and a 4.
Does he have it?
Doomsayer, I think this should do it.
1, 2.
That should be lethal.
With the second Defile, yep. By golly, he's done it.
Wow, BloodTrail up 2-0. Surrender needs to reverse sweep the best class in Hearthstone. It's Death Rattle Hunter, and it is an iconic deck to BloodTrail. Yep. And also, like, you know, what's your favorite deck or what's your favorite class? Hunter.
Yeah, and also
who's your favorite caster? TJ.
He did not say that. He doesn't even know who I am.
What's your favorite food? Everything. Oh man, what an opening hand! Holy moly! And this is also a very tough matchup for Surrender, at least on paper. Cube Warlock can struggle against Hunter pressure, and this 5/5 train can be really difficult if Devastator Egg gets chugging. That being said, you know, Surrender does have some time. Mountain Giant in the opening hand is a great start.
Wow. That's a hand.
I will say, out of all the possible Kelseth on 2 decks, though, Death Rattle Hunter feels like the least impactful, given that there's Zoo Warlock and Tempo Rogue in the past, and well, what other like really prominent Kelseth decks were there? Those are like the 2 major ones that people were thinking about.
Did you say Tempo Rogue?
Yeah, in the past. There's like Kelseth on 2 is just like so devastating because
Did you say Shutterwalk Shaman?
Well, yeah, actually, Shutterwalk Shaman. I feel like it was still important for Shutterwalk Shaman.
It was very important. Yeah.
The reason why is because there's still a lot of spells. You know, there's Play Dead, there's Flanking Strike, Trackings, you know, Deathstalker, Rexar. It's still great. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying that at least if you're trying to look at the silver lining, which there isn't very much for Surrender, he still has a lot of game. But, you know, Houndmaster Shaw is definitely very scary, especially as a 4/7. And Surrender had the option of setting up that Doomsayer, but Double Mountain Giant.
Double Mountain Giant's great as well. He's just saying no Spider Bomb, no Spider Bomb, no Spider Bomb.
I mean, none yet. BloodTrail could look for it, but he could also just use the 6 damage Flanking Strike. This plus Kelseth removes an 8/8, pushes damage. There we try again. Oh, we can silence the Shaw.
But then it still trades over the Spellbreak and you do nothing else and you give BloodTrail a full turn of development.
Yes, I'm just so scared to life tap if I'm Surrender. And the thing is, though, your hand's still not amazing.
Well, you don't have to life tap.
I feel like, in a certain extent, you do because you still haven't found a way to win. You found a way to stall. Like, almost every card in Surrender's hand stalls. Except for Prince Tal'Daram and Faceless. Those kind of impressive.
Hunter's Mark or Spider Bomb doesn't find it.
Yeah, and you know, King Crush, if it gets left behind in the tracking, that's actually a really potentially a very big deal because BloodTrail wouldn't be able to pull it from Katharina.
Yeah. He still does have a charged Devil Sword in the deck, so he's got Katharina charged damage.
Okay, yeah, that's true. But Katharina's in the hand, which is why it makes that King Crush a little bit unfortunate for BloodTrail, but he also, you know, really wants to hold on to things like Cube and Terrascale Stalker. Because those are just good cards.
But if he picks Lich King, he has King Crush. He has the 1-2 combo of playing Katharina and then following that up with King Crush.
Yeah, I like that too.
But Terrascale Stalker is kind of the best all-around kind of play because it's guaranteed board presence much earlier on, whereas the Cube, he doesn't have an activator.
Yep. I mean, the Kelseth buff would be really big for the Devilsaur Egg because then you Devilsaur Egg, the 1/4. I actually still wouldn't even deal with the Giant because that's 7 damage.
Yeah. Well, the Devilsaur Egg was not Kelseth buffed.
Yep.
Precisely.
Now, one thing that I love about anything Q-Block matchup related when it comes to slow decks is the fact that Prince Tal'Daram and Faceless exist because they get some really fun shenanigans. Like, Surrender has the ability to copy the Houndmaster Shaw and then do some stuff. The only thing is he doesn't have enough mana yet.
So many possibilities.
Because he can copy Shaw and then kill it and then pass. And then all of a sudden, like, his plays open up so much more significantly to answer BloodTrail's deck.
Yeah. Another option for him this turn is just to kill Houndmaster Shaw and Spellbreaker the Egg to hinder BloodTrail's development.
I like that too.
Yeah, because he already used Coin, so that means that he's still a few turns away from his big power turns like Katharina, which would Grizzly's super small because Surrender's hand size is massive.
It is something to consider because BloodTrail just used tracking, which means that if he wants Egg Synergy, he has a very high chance of landing it next turn.
Yeah.
So if Surrender doesn't take this Egg seriously, more 5/5s are on the way. Yes! I love it.
My pack will hunt you down.
High octane Hearthstone. That is what you're gonna see here. BloodTrail has 2 activators for death rattles. I am digging it, TJ.
Yeah.
I want brave plays. Safe plays are fantastic. They win championships. You know, whatever adage you want to say, but I love fast-paced, high-explosive action, and Surrender recognizes that. And plus, it's a bad matchup. You need to take some risks.
Warlock seems like it needs to take risks in a lot of matchups in order to be a good deck. But now he's got the world is his oyster.
Oh, yeah.
Like next turn, he could Prince Tal'Daram the Devilsaur Egg and trade it in to get a 5/5 that could also rush.
Well, what's funny is that, yeah, like, exactly. He has so many options at his disposal because of the Houndmaster Shaw. And now BloodTrail's like, oh my gosh, what do I actually do to this? Because I can't remove it. He doesn't have this Hunter's Mark.
Yeah, and he's thinking, do I need to go for Stitch Tracker and try and find something that can contest this board like Spider Bomb?
Will not be paid.
Oh, he loses the Devilsaur. Katharina is getting worse with each passing turn.
So now the only beasts he has left are the Witchwood Grizzlies. No Undasta.
There has to be some
Wait. Prince Tal'Daram the Egg.
Yep.
Trade over it. Houndmaster Shaw into the 5/5 and then Defile.
Yeah. Oh, that egg is ready to be hashed. Although, Defile clears your own board too,
It clears your own board. You're left with a 5/2?
What if instead you just trade the giant to the... Oh, no, yeah. Because the other opponent's egg. Yeah. Oh, no, then you spell break. Why don't you just spell breaker, trade? Oh, Shroomburrow works too.
Okay, Shroomburrow, yeah.
Yeah, no, it works fine too because then you get to still keep onto the giant. I like that. I was thinking about like how to remove the egg efficiently, but this works out very nicely. And now Surrender has to figure out, does he want the extra health on the Shaw or the extra health on the giant? And I like the giant because it pushes more damage. Whew. Double Spider Bomb.
Also has Zilliax, so the second Spider Bomb could be magnetized and used to
Oh man.
as a weapon.
And you know, he just lost his Shaw too. So BloodTrail would have had a crazy swing on the board.
Yeah.
Double Spider Bomb.
Oh, if you magnetize the Spider Bomb, you play it, it kills 2 minions.
Yes, you're right.
Oh!
Double Death Rattle. Lands on the best 2 minions.
You said it correct, Dan. High octane Hearthstone.
It's explosive. The swing turns are so fun to watch. Stressful. So stressful for the players. But for the 7 other billion people on the planet, it's really exciting.
Amen,
Because that's
brother.
how many people should be watching this game right now. BloodTrail has the board dominance, but Surrender can answer it fairly easily. In fact, like a Defile, Defile, a Spellbreaker, and a Doomsayer sets up the Voidlord fairly well. However, Surrender doesn't know that King Crush and Charge Devilsaur have been eliminated from Katharina, so it is so scary to set up into that. Zilliax Pass. This is a nod to the Katharina charge potential.
We know that there's just 2 Witchwood left for Katharina to pull.
Oh.
Wait, no, Charge Devilsaur was the Stitch
You're
Tracker.
right. I'm an idiot. And that's a really bad draw for
We've gone
BloodTrail.
full BloodTrail.
Oh my god. I'm the BloodTrail now. How did this happen?
Oh, no. Well, he drew
We
it anyway.
deserve every sap request
Yes.
out there.
Darkness rises.
Actually, just get right to it.
Yeah.
Just twist
I'm
together us.
AFK. I'm AFK later. Oh my goodness. Back and forth. But now, you know, again, BloodTrail actually has meaningful ways to spend his mana. His next turn, if he didn't have that Charged Devilsaur, was whatever card he had plus Ziliax, and that's not as impactful as a Charged Devilsaur. But the Void Lord here, with no ability for BloodTrail to get past it efficiently, means that Surrender should be able to get a Blood River Gul'dan pretty safely, and maybe that will mean clear skies from that point on. Oh. Man, that is just so explosive in the next turn if he picks up Play Dead number 2.
Also has the last charge of Candle Shot to line up quite nicely with this Void Lord. But he's not going to do that. Yeah, he wants to damage his Katharina, so it makes it harder for Surrender to clear the board without leaving something left. So this is actually smart.
I mean, Blood River Gul'dan is his best defensive play. I don't know if he needs to close out the game through a Doomguard combo. Until BloodTrail has shown that he has Deathstalker Rexar, you're not going to get outvalued. But when you leave Charged Devilsaur on the board and you know your opponent can use Cube and Death Play Dead or some kind of Death Rattle combo, or even maybe both. Maybe you Carnivorous Cube, Terror Scale Stalker, and Play Dead. That's how disasters happen with his when you go up against Death Rattle Hunter.
Yep.
I mean, you saw that when BloodTrail just like wrecked Muzzy's Druid with exactly those combos. And, you know, maybe it's Muzzy playing Druid, or maybe it's just the fact that, you know, Death Rattle Hunter has those capabilities of going really tall and wide. They don't have to choose. Shiner doesn't have a better option. I mean, if he wants to, like, remove with Spellstone, Defile, he might even be biting off more than he could chew. Still doesn't know King Crush is discarded. Another Devilsaur Egg. Kind of a weak draw here for BloodTrail.
Yeah, but it does protect him against AoE, which at some point, Surrender's going to have to clear these minions off the board. So the second Devilsaur Egg makes it so he's more resilient to like Hellfire plus Defile combinations.
True, true.
But Surrender's not really in the range of a lot of lethal turns outside of Carnivorous Cube plus Activators. He's safely at 22. He can keep healing up with the Siphon Life plus Spellstone that he has in his hand. And these Void Lords provide just so much delay for BloodTrail's game plan. And eventually he'll be able to whittle it down.
DJ, it's Defile Math time. No, he's going to cube. He's going to cube. That's massive for Surrender. Now he has a Spellbreaker on the second cube. There's got to be something. There's a 1, there's a 2, there's a 3 with the Voidwalker. There's a 4 with the Witchwood Grizzly.
My hunger grows.
There's no 5. But he could Spellbreaker the cube, Siphon Life the cube, and then Defile.
So many
We're looking for the 5 because the 6 is the cube.
The 6 is the cube, and also the
6 is also the cube, and also the Devilsaur.
The Devilsaur Egg, yeah, and we have a 7 too, or no, we have a 9 because of the second Devilsaur Egg. Oh, jeez.
So, oh man, right, because the egg being at a 0-4 makes a difference. In fact, he could have just bit the egg and defiled if it was a 0-3. Librarian, Surrender's out of time. We're out of time. Oh, Godfrey! I mean, that's got to be like some kind of foil clear as well, but I guess Surrender's going to take it easy. Oh, my goodness, this is just so fast and furious. You didn't even get the attacks in.
Oh no!
Is that it? No more beasts?
No more beasts.
Dude, BloodTrail drew very well early game and then followed by terrible draws in the mid game.
Yeah, now he's on Deathstalker Rexar.
Yeah, it's Deathstalker Rexar or bust. And it's leaning towards bust because Surrender is going to very quickly be able to turn the tides with his Death Knight online. Witchwood Grizzly's a 4-7. Very easy to get past. 1, 2, 3, 4 guaranteed. 5 on the cube, 6 on the Devilsaur Egg.
7 on the Grizzly. 8 on the other Devilsaur Egg.
My hunger grows.
Wait, there's no 4.
The 4 was, I was assuming you bite the Grizzly.
Assuming you bite the Grizzly.
Yeah, sorry, I should clarify that because I was trying to do very quick mental math.
Come on, Dan.
Wait, you can still get it if you trade the 2. No, you can trade the 2-1 and the 4-7 in, so it becomes.
Or you can just not defile.
Yeah.
Because he still thinks that King Crush is somewhere in there.
That's true. Oh, you're right. Yeah, we're working off the knowledge that BloodTrail has no pull off the Katharina. And so I think when he does this, maybe he's trying to prepare for Godfrey. Nothing gets pulled.
So now Surrender thinks King Crush is in the hand.
I mean, that means he can just cube, not cube, he can skull.
Yeah.
Because then he has Doomguard and cube. And now there's a very real clock that's going to be going on to BloodTrail in the next couple turns here, unless he draws Deathstalker Rexar. Terrible draw again for BloodTrail. Things have been not lining up whatsoever despite the fantastic early game here.
Still got board pressure, and honestly, Surrender is kind of low on threats in his deck outside of Doomguards and Cube. So if somehow he manages to get through that push, maybe Deathstalker Rexar can get him through the game, but it's going to be quite hard.
Yeah, especially with a second Doomguard potentially coming in here. And now Surrender knows, no silence in the deck, no freezing trap to really ruin any kind of cube attack, so.
There it is.
Oh boy. We are reaching the climax of game 3 here. Deathstalker Rexar needs to come up big with its beast selection.
One thing, I think I was telling you this yesterday, Dan. I don't think I've ever seen someone have as much mastery with zombie selection as BloodTrail from the last the previous championship, the fall championship. He picks quickly and he picks well. It seemed like he always had the perfect beast, even if it wasn't the perfect beast for that turn. He has so much forethought with it and foresight.
I mean, the Cave Hydra with the Vile Brute Skitterer, isn't that just what you, isn't that the nuts?
That's the nuts. I'm not talking about this one. This one's easy. I'm talking about when it gets to the complicated turns where you have to find a balance between, well, do I go with something defensive or do I stick something big to try and push?
Yeah, that gives BloodTrail the ability to answer definitively 3 minions from Surrender because of the poisonous and the cleave effect. Surrender also is aware of this possibility.
They'll serve me now.
Oh. This is a positioning error from Surrender.
Well, it's hard to predict that.
I mean, you play around the worst possible Zombeasts.
Okay, well, he can now Hunter's Mark, trade in the Devilsaur Egg, and then Zombeast to clear off some Boardwalkers as well as the Doomguard. Is that worth it?
I like that too.
I think that's worth it because then you can attack the far left Boardwalker. So you leave a cube and then you leave a Boardwalker on the board. And you don't have to worry about it. Maybe it frees up some attacks.
Yeah.
Or maybe to protect himself from AoE, he uses the Candle Shot instead.
I mean, yes, it is something it's hard to account for, but it's something you have to definitely calculate. And Surrender recognizes, oh no, I messed up.
Yeah. Wait, did he mess up?
Yeah, if he placed it to the cube, it would have created 2 more Doomguards. If he played it on the Void Lord on the left.
How could he didn't play the Void Lord, he put it from Possessed Lackey.
Oh, you're right. No, I'm an idiot.
And he couldn't place the Doomguard because it came from Skull.
Oh, you're right. Okay, I'm stupid.
So yes, a positioning error, but one that he didn't have control
I'm
of.
gonna stop talking. Surrender has lethal. That's game number 3.
There it is.
I'm hanging. I quit casting.
Yeah, me too.
All right. Well, we have more Hearthstone to play, and the TV producers can rest a little bit easy.
See it with my own eyes.
Pretty insane. Now, Surrender is going to go to mid-range Hunter first. This is a favorable matchup for the mid-range Hunter statistically. Dire Mole, Scavenging Hyena, reasonable curve. I wonder if the Dire Frenzy is just good to simply have it as a discount Blessing of Kings effect. I don't think he cares about the shuffle nearly as much as the pressure, and I don't think Surrender cares about that either. I think he wants instead minions.
What are you even looking for when tracking here?
I mean, Kelos, that's a good start because it gives you something to do on turn 2.
Yeah, but
Play Dead with the Devil's Sword Egg is also all right, or Spider Bomb.
I guess play dead is always good. But I'd be worried about what happens if I get three good options.
Whew.
Good water, Dan?
Great water.
Hydration is important.
If you guys have been watching the stream for at least an hour or two,
Go get
have
some
at
water.
least 8 fluid ounces of water, and I'm not going to convert that to milliliters for all you savages that use the metric system. Surrender has the coin Animal Companion or the Scavenging Hyena. And you can make a case for both here, but BloodTrail on 3 mana can't really do much. The removal tools for Hunter really start at turn 4.
Yep. Whether it be Spider Bomb plus Play Dead or Flanking Strike, I guess you could have Hunter's Mark, but not on something that's this small. Like a measly little Dire Maul. How ugly that thing is.
The Dire Mole?
Gross.
What, you think that Dire Mole's single? I swipe right every time on that. Wait, is it swipe left? I don't know. I'm so out of the meta on that one. I've been exposed, TJ.
I don't swipe right.
I am not the Casanova that I have led you all to believe.
If I saw Dire Maul, I wouldn't swipe right or left. I'd just throw my phone in the trash can.
It's kind of like an expectations versus reality thing, It's like, yeah, expectations is like, like a Valero or like a Jaina, and the reality is like Dire Mole. Well, Surrender with the Animal Companion, which he was originally lining up. I wonder if that changes whatsoever because of some of the draws that he has. Dire Frenzy doesn't exactly buff things out of range of Flanking Strike.
There's a weird play that you can make. I don't know if I like it.
Hit me, DJ.
You Flanking Strike the egg and then you double trade. Kill off the...
Oh.
Kill off the Devil Sword. Nah, this is better.
Yeah, it's a lot better.
Well,
it is weak to Flanking Strike, but BloodTrail has to have it. He did tracking, though, early on.
Yeah, but if he Flanking Strikes, then you can Flanking Strike his Flanking Strike.
Ooh, I like that. All right. BloodTrail is going to grab a little bit of the initiative, but Surrender's going to earn it right back. At least I think so. It's almost too good not to. Flanking Strike to Flanking Strike. I really hope BloodTrail draws his own Flanking Strike right now. That'd be great. Flanking Strike and Play Dead right back.
This beast will not be tamed.
Oh, man. If only Kelos had showed up, we would get to see the true test. All right, well, Ziliax is really good against most of mid-range Hunter's threats, and you need to survive because mid-range Hunter really wants to put that pressure on.
Yeah, the way they win is just by sticking stuff on the board and killing you. And Ziliax helps against both those things.
Wow, what a classic combo. Scavenging Hyena and Unleash the Hounds, as old as Hearthstone itself.
It actually used to be a lot better.
Because it was 2 mana?
It was 2 mana, and you also had the potential to go for the Buzzard.
The Buzzard, yeah. Buzzard, Unleash,
which was a
Scavenging Hyena.
How much did Buzzard cost? Did it cost 3?
It costed 2 mana.
2 mana. Every time you summon a beast, draw a card. So Buzzard plus Unleash, you just drew a card for every Unleash the Hound you summon. If you had 7 mana, you could plop a Scavenging Hyena, so you made a big minion, drew a bunch of cards, cleared a bunch of minions.
Well, the original Unleash the Hounds used to give everything +1 attack, +1/+1 in charge.
Yes.
Which is also fairly broken, but it was like Hunter's only viable deck in the beta.
Yeah.
That got nerfed, and then Unleash got reworked completely to what it is now, which I honestly love Unleash the Hounds. I think it's a a really interesting card for several reasons, but we won't go into that today. Oh, I forgot the hyena got buffed.
Oh, yeah.
It's that hyena. It's not the other hyena.
It's the good hyena.
Yeah. It's the Chad hyena. I'm not going to finish the rest of that because we have to keep some semblance of professionalism here, DJ. We've gone off the rails way too much for this broadcast. But with the Unleash the Hounds to back this up, that is a lot of damage. Oh, Surrender's counting. He's like, what if I get a really good Huffer here?
So if he gets Huffer, then he summons 3 Unleash the Hounds. That's 6 extra attack on the hyena. That's 13, 16. Huffer would not be lethal.
I mean, it could be effective lethal. Like, you can just put your opponent to a low health total and just wrap up the game right there.
Yeah, he can put him to 2. If he gets Huffer, he puts him to 2.
To my side.
Leok, he puts him to 4. That's if you make...
No, you just go with the face with the extra 2-1, right? It's the same.
It's the same, yeah. So he still puts him to 4.
Right, okay.
Right, because each of these hounds is worth 2.
I'm trusting you.
So you double trade the Ooze?
Do you? What if you just go all face? It's kind of the same thing. Every...
Woo! Woo! Woo!
Trades. The safe play. Putting his opponent down to 4. Good Lord, was that a scary moment. Oh my goodness.
But now...
He is messing with us right now.
BloodTrail has the Ziliax to magnetize on a Spider Bomb to trade over something, which gets a bunch of healing and presents a weird situation where Surrender has to trade into it.
It's weird because Ziliax doesn't let the Spider Bomb die, and if Surrender can efficiently get past that and even deal with this, it's scary. I like this. I like the separation, and now it goes to a 50% chance to eliminate the hyena.
But at the very least, it isolates the hyena to force it to attack.
BloodTrail snipes the Chad hyena, and now Ziliax is gatekeeping that Leok. Master's Call is going to summon more beasts. This game is nuts, TJ.
BloodTrail has Katharina coming next turn. He's got a lot to back it up with both King Crush and Witchwood Grizzly.
Oh yeah, it's going to continue to get worse for Surrender. Oh man, that hyena is super big though. When you get double Timberwolf in on the action, 2 Timberwolves, and BloodTrail has Katharina, and if he gets Witchwood Grizzly, is BloodTrail just dead?
Where's
It's the Grizzly. The button's green. Dude.
Whoa. What can he get from Master's Call?
Tundra Rhino.
Tundra Rhino?
Spring Paw.
Spring Paw!
How does that have so much damage? It's Leok. There's
It's got
3
4
Timberwolves. What the heck? Surrender is going to win game 4, and we are going to the rubber match to decide who is going to face Tom 60229 in the grand finals here at the All-Star Invitational.
This series has been insane. Down to the wire every single game. And Surrender may just complete the reverse sweep. And you can just get there. It's got the support it needs. But now, it all comes down to this. I've said it many times. BloodTrail's signature Death Battle Hunter versus Surrender's. Since he's the only player in the tournament bringing it, I'm going to call it his signature priest deck. Dan's all-time favorite deck. What Dan calls the best deck in Hearthstone.
You're going to see why.
Of all time, ever.
And it's because he has this card. Nursery Cleric on 1. I can't even tell. You thought Mana Worm on 1 was bad. You thought Tunnel Trog on 1 was bad. You thought the caverns below on 1 was bad.
Is someone
Northshire Cleric on 1 with this deck is so ridiculously scary.
Life coach thought Hunter Quest on 1 was bad.
You thought the Marsh Queen was bad. Shout out to Life Coach. I miss Adrian.
Wherever he may be.
If his expression, can you imagine him playing that previous game? His expressions, man, it would have been just dynamite and gold.
Yeah,
I miss him.
I'm waiting for the day where he comes back.
I miss you, Life Coach. Come back soon, or one day, or eventually.
I think once the Mars Queen rotates out, he's coming back.
100 Quest rotates out, he comes back. I will embrace him with open arms. I don't care what all the other haters say. Surrender immediately goes for the Discover effect here. Doesn't really... I mean, he has Divine Spirit, Inner Fire. Those are some of the closers. But does he need something else better? Things like Silence or Mass Hysteria. He already has a copy of Silence. And Silence is really, really important against Death Rattle Hunter.
And if you were to choose a combo piece, which combo piece would you choose? Divine Spirit or Inner Fire?
Probably Divine Spirit, because it just has more universal use with things like the Witchwood Grizzly, and just puts like a 324 on the board. And, you know, if they don't have Hunter's Mark or a Spider Bomb, which, you know, incidentally BloodTrail does have, it's still just like a really effective wall until you eventually naturally draw that.
Yeah.
And because you have Northshire Cleric, you're just going to organically draw like a lot.
Yeah, and Surrender realized that he doesn't know what he wants, so instead he just decides to reset.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
So
now I'm thinking Circle of Healing is the kind of the nuts draw from Shadow Visions.
Yes. And Surrender could wait a turn too, because he still has 4 mana next turn, so he can Wild Pyromancer, or he can Shadow Visions and then Wild Pyromancer go for the play that you're talking about.
And also evaluate his draw, because let's say he picks up something that could change his game plan from going Shadow Visions for Circle of Healing and Wild Pyromancer. Like if he picks up Acolyte of Pain and realizes that it might be beneficial to wait a turn.
It's true. The downside of the Shadow Visions, what would it be? The thing about this deck is there's not much real meat on 4. It kind of goes through random power spikes because of how varied it is.
Yeah, the downside of Shadow Visions is if you don't find Circle of Healing and you're faced with a tough option, and you don't know what you want, but he's just going to invest into the Wild Pyromancer now.
Yeah, I mean, he knows there's a possibility of like the Flanking Strike, but if the Flanking Strike comes out, he just attacks, heals,
and gets to draw anyway.
Gets to draw anyways.
Yeah.
It's just that the Pyromancer opens up a world of possibilities, because now BloodTrail is scared to play like a Devil's Sword Coin play dead, because that was kind of, I think, what BloodTrail wanted to do.
Yep. And if he plays Flanking Strike, that's the coin use, which makes those powerful turns.
Exactly.
Like Katharina come 1 turn later, which could give Surrender the time.
I like this is a forceful play. Surrender is forcing BloodTrail to react to this. Surrender has the ability to draw first before he decides what he wants to do with his remaining 2 mana. However, the Northshire Cleric is likely to go down. You know, after evaluating it with Spider Bombs and Hunter's Mark, is BloodTrail, as long as he plays very intelligently with his resource management, he should be able to handle most of the threats initially, which means that I don't think there's a high chance whatsoever for Surrender to cheese a victory through like a turn 6 or 7 win with Inner Fire.
Yeah.
One of the, unsung heroes of this deck is actually Extra Arms. I thought that this card was just purely in because, you just needed stuff to do with...
You needed more arms.
I needed... unleash the hands. But it ended up being really strong because it just helps you leverage their early game board, Radiant Elemental and a Northshire Cleric, very similar to Earth and Might. And right now, Surrender doesn't have a good use of Extra Arms. Ends up just, once again, mulliganing, essentially, for another Shadow Visions.
But now, in order to take care of this Northshire Cleric, BloodTrail would have to invest either a Spider Bomb Playdead onto a 1-mana 1/4 or a Hunter's Mark.
I don't know if I necessarily like either, but shutting down their card draw source is super crucial for priests because they do run into awkward draws at times because of so much like miracle synergy, like spell synergy.
Yep.
And Pyromancer was used too. So Surrender has less ability to just knock off that 3-1. Oh, did I say that he ran out of, that he doesn't have a Pyromancer? He does. In fact, he has ways to draw twice. He can double silence, but that's a little bit of a wasteful use.
Yeah, especially since silence is so impactful against this deck.
Right.
Yeah, he could kind of wait a turn, but waiting a turn requires him to effectively do nothing. He could Shadow Visions and try and find Power Word Shield.
Circle of Healing is the difference between what he has other choices. He can once again go for another Shadow Visions.
Yeah, but the thing is, next turn, if he wants to go for some kind of Wild Pyromancer plus Acolyte of Pain play, then he wants to have a 1 or less cost spell to be able to get multiple activations and not have to use both silences.
I mean, using, getting another Shadow Visions still isn't the worst thing, because you might think that it just feels pointless to invest in mana, but what you're doing is kind of ramping your grave horrors in a way.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit of an abstract way to think about it, but it still has its uses for sure. Another Northshire Cleric.
Whoa.
So Surrender has opportunity to draw a lot.
He's been 1 turn away from being able to just go off with card draw for like 3 turns now. Like, if he could Eternal Servitude, pick up Acolyte of Pain, and go...
He should just do it, though. He just silence the Handmaster Straw and the Circle of Healing, draw 4, basically go to full hand. That Grave Horror is not going to be expensive for much longer. He still has 3 mana to play with. Another Power Shield here would be really nice. Another Circle of Healing. Where does he spend his mana? He can draw 4 more, full hand. Wait, no, he's overdrawing.
He overdraws 1. He has 1 Divine Spirit, 1 Inner Fire. He's got both Divine Spirits. Lyra!
That hurts. It's not game defining, but it hurts.
Quickly.
Surrender's exit plan has been cut off. Lyra is often the backup. You don't really need to rely on it as your main source of damage, but it's certainly convenient to have. And also, Surrender's gonna burn yet another card. Double Spider Bomb. But BloodTrail's development is way slower given how much card, or how many cards Surrender has drawn.
But the thing is BloodTrail doesn't really need development if he kills every single minion that Surrender plays.
Thing is, he can't. He can't kill every single...
Well, he can.
Well,
Spider Bomb, if he just isolates Spider Bomb on the board, it's literally impossible to remove.
well, you just silence it.
Oh, he has a silence in hand.
Radiant Elemental, now that is also a really big, important burn. Radiant Elemental, in my opinion, is the crux of this deck, because it lets you do some really silly things.
He still has 1 left in the deck, but his minions are starting to become limited. Eternal Servitude will help, but burn cards don't count as dead cards.
Also, we've crossed the threshold where more than 3 minions will have died before Eternal Servitude comes down. So, Surrender has a chance of whiffing, as we saw in the quarterfinals.
Yep. He had multiple chances to get Grave Horror or Witchwood Grizzly to try and protect himself and wasn't able to get it. Got an Eternal Servitude filled with Wild Pyromancer, Acolyte of Pain, and Northshire Cleric multiple times.
Mass Hysteria is potentially Surrender's way to stall the game out. And I think he would also be very okay with playing Witchwood Grizzly here, because having it be invested into the Preacher pool is also okay. So I agree with this. And BloodTrail's response, stack the Spider Bombs. You cannot let this Grizzly live.
You let the Grizzly live, you're probably going to die with how many cards he's drawn.
However, Second Silence was used, and if BloodTrail's been doing a good job hand tracking, you should know that there's no possibility for the Shadow Visions to discover that, because he just played a second Shadow Visions, and he also used a Silence from the far left. So he should feel a lot more okay if he, say, played Zilliax and passed. Double Pyromancer's been used. 2 Silences have been used. Inner Fire should not be able to get through that. It's still scary, though.
Well, I mean, the play you had talked about earlier, if you play Ziliax and then Mass Hysteria,
Yeah.
after you've buffed up your minion,
It's true. The
you can
Mass
still attack
Hysteria.
with it.
No, you're right. You're right. The Mass Hysteria presents a big threat.
Yeah.
Now, this is the scariest thing about it, that this Spider Bomb still continues to exist, and Surrender can't deal with it. Another Inner Fire. So many combo pieces.
And without Lyra, there's no way for him to do something crazy like find, for instance, Shadow Madness to utilize one of BloodTrail's minions to kill him.
Yeah, I think that second Circle of Healing, as much as it's unlikely to burn exactly Lyra in that situation, he burned more cards. And, you know, he did have some of the most important cards already. Oh, geez.
This happened
Witch Way
again.
Grizzly. I mean, that's a risk you always run into, because he invested twice as many of these minions as he did in other things. He can detach more arms. Is he going for another one? Again?
What? How?
I think this deck has to consider cutting Acolyte of Pain, TJ. You can play the Graveheart and hope. Surrender has a ton of Inner Fires in the hand. Deathstalker Rexar draw, which means BloodTrail should be able to deal with this board very easily. That is a massive pickup. Insta snap call. BloodTrail's gonna clear the board. That means Surrender's last remaining minion is the lone remaining copy of Graveheart. Other than that, he just got spells and card draw.
1 Acolyte of Pain, 1 Grave Horror. Does he have a Witchwood Grizzly left?
No, he burned one, didn't he?
I don't think he can stick a minion. BloodTrail even has Charged Devilsaur to be able to deal with whatever comes out and a Candle Shot. So even if Grave Horror comes out, Surrender's going to have to just suit it up right away and hope that BloodTrail doesn't have a way to deal with it. But BloodTrail's also picked up an Ironbeak Owl Zombies. So in order for Surrender to
Oh boy.
wait, can he present 2 giant targets?
So Surrender's weighing if, oh man, that Ironbeak Owl is just so important, because Surrender has to decide if he wants to go for maximum stat piling right here and right now. But the problem is, BloodTrail already has the answer.
Oh, all right, so I think you have to find a middle ground here. You have to force something out if BloodTrail has it by presenting a minion that's too big to kill by normal means, but not utilizing everything, so that way you don't have a way to win afterwards.
So you can just play like 1 Inner Fire then, right?
Or
Like more arms Inner Fire?
or more arms. Oh man, this is so hard.
He still has an extra arms in the deck, because I believe this one was used for... Oh, here we go. He's going, but he's not all the way. This is fairly clever. He's saying, I don't have enough to kill you yet, but BloodTrail has that zombie silence.
Yeah, zombie
with
silence
the charge.
and Ziliax taking out the
clear.
last 2 minions. Surrender has a Grave Horror left.
One final hope. It's a pass. Surrender concedes. BloodTrail is going to the finals, and we have an all-Taiwanese face-off for the championship.
And you can hear the crowd erupt behind